the sense that there's a whole community that is willing and wants to support people is incredibly valuable to the people who are receiving the meals.
I have always appreciated programs where a group of people working together can achieve something good that one person alone could not.
Sometimes the Meals on Wheels were the only people they saw in that every day.
Meals on Wheels is 5,000 different programs that each spring up independently. The name is not trademarked. Each program does what it wants to do. It is anarchy out there between the programs. Some are tiny, some are large. Over the last 5 decades, our scrappy little group has served determinedly thanks to the dedication of my predecessors. Through it all, our mission remained laser focused, the core of what we do: deliver healthy, delicious meals to our homebound neighbors who would otherwise go hungry.
I want to thank the volunteers who come. I look forward to seeing them every day around 11:30 or so. And that works out fine for me. You bring my meal of the day, and I deeply appreciate your services.
I created the menus, use fresh vegetables and fruits every day after the pandemic, accept some donations. Sometimes big donation fresh vegetables and fruits.
Meals on Wheels, I know that they have very good cooks. The food is very seasonal and the taste is very good. There is no leftovers and no throwaways.
It started in the 1970s, and we were members of Zion Lutheran Church.
When we were founded fully 50 years ago, we were a very small group with big ideas about how to get homemade, healthy meals to as many of our homebound neighbors as possible.
I've been with Meals on Wheels for 36 years, and I served as board chairman for 9 years.
I've had a lot of different roles at Meals on Wheels. The first was as a babysitter. After that, I was chairman of the board, and I did that for 13 years and worked for several years as the director.
What they had was there were a bunch of churches along New Hampshire Avenue that jointly sponsored the program. In the beginning, there were only 3 Meals on Wheels in the area.
To the kind and lovely grown-ups of the day, they saw that right in the midst of our own neighborhoods, people were slipping through the cracks and going hungry. But it was invisible because those individuals were tucked into their homes and apartments on their own. Elders, people living with disabilities, those recovering from surgery, managing illness or difficult treatments, were experiencing hunger and loneliness.
Leroy and I delivered Meals on Wheels, and Leroy served on the board in May of 1988 and became vice president sometime after 1992. Leroy was then elected chairman of the board in June 1994 and served 7 years until his death May 31st, 2001.
The young pastor, assistant pastor, he got the idea that there ought to be a Meals on Wheels program. And my husband, Gary Schweitzer, was on the council, and he was helping him get it started. And then he sort of superintended it for a while. And there were all kinds of things that had to be done. They had to establish it with the health department. I mean, there are regulations and there are federal regulations. It involved changing some things about the kitchen. They hired a cook because there are certain regulations and tests they have to pass. And we've had a series of cooks. They also discovered that nobody's is always on duty. And so the coordinator, whoever it was, and we've had a series of coordinators, also got certified.
I did pretty much anything that needed to be done. If we didn't have enough volunteers for a day, I would fill in. I would drive, I'd deliver, I'd cook, I'd pack.
Now, in the beginning, I think we had 5 routes, and there were about 14 stops possible. And we started about 11:15, and we were usually back by 1, depending on what else happened.
I know we are able to do it at minimum cost because I went to a conference once. Most of them worked for the government in their city and had quite a staff, and we did it with 2 people plus a bunch of volunteers. And when I told them what our cost per person was, they didn't believe me that we could do it that cheaply. I didn't mention that when the cook was out, I did that too.
I guess the most important change was when we had the merger with St. Camillus in 2019, because we doubled our clientele and also doubled our volunteers. So it came at the right time, because soon after that, we had the pandemic, and so I feel that it all worked out for good. We also had a new director who rose to the occasion. She kept the operation going throughout these turbulent times.
Our service is offered to each of our clients Monday through Friday, day in, day out. Meals are delivered by our really terrific volunteer delivery team. They are our boots on the ground. They get food directly to our recipients, and they do it with kindness and compassion, checking in with our clients, and obviously with adjusted procedures during the pandemic, but they keep on delivering.
Every volunteer that came through that door was a special person. They have to give up that time to work with us, and they were very special.
We had lots and lots of really wonderful people, and that's maybe the reason I like the program so much, is there are such good people involved with it.
I actually discovered Meals on Wheels when I was a little kid, because my mom took me along when she delivered Meals on Wheels, and I was like 5 or 6 years old. So fast forward a couple of decades, I was looking for a volunteer opportunity, and of course I thought of Meals on Wheels.
I started in March. I've been with Meals on Wheels for a year and a half now.
Right.
I saw that they lost a whole bunch of volunteers, and they put a call out for drivers and kitchen volunteers. So I called in, and they said they needed help. I was a volunteer for 6 years, but then I got the opportunity to start working here, and I took it immediately. Cool. I love it. It's been an absolute blast. I really enjoy it, and I enjoy working with Nancia and the office staff, and it's been nice. My husband used to volunteer here when he was a kid, so he's been coming here literally since elementary school, and when we started dating in high school, he brought me with him.
My daughter also came sometimes and helped with the thing, and it was a family effort. My husband and I both did it.
I've been working with Meals on Wheels since about 2003. My wife and I volunteered to do deliveries, and so we were doing that, and so the president, Jill, there at the time said, well, can you run a spreadsheet? I said, yeah, I can put in numbers. And then a month later, well, since you're putting the numbers in, why don't you just write the checks? And then, oh, by the way, that means you're the bookkeeper, and that means you're on the board of directors. So I was on the board for about 10 or 12 years. And then we receive Meals on Wheels, okay, and I still do some volunteering around the thing.
There's some people that you served that were very memorable to you.
Yeah, so many people. One person I was thinking of particular is Esther Chait.
Oh, Mrs. Chait.
And she never allowed any of us to go into her apartment. And when we first started to deliver, she would just open the door a little bit, and then this hand would come out and grab the meals, and she would go back into this very dark room. And we just came every day with food, and there was no judgment. And gradually, she she opened the door wider and wider to us until we really became a big part of her social network. And we served her until she died. It was just over a year ago.
I'm Homer Schweppe on Route 4. I'm a recent beneficiary of Meals on Wheels program, and I'd like to thank every one of you there, those that work inside and those drivers and deliverers, for caring for my well-being and for that of many others. I thank you sincerely. May good luck be with you, and may the Lord be with you as well.
We had one woman that I remember who couldn't hear very well. Mm-hmm. And she had the television on so loud that I would walk into the living room and, she'd see me. They finally told her she had to not use the television at that time when she was expecting it. There was one woman who was a cancer patient, mm-hmm. and she was so grateful. I mean, unbelievably grateful to have us come, and she kept saying how nice it was.
One of my most memorable things was we were redoing the office and lounge, and we had an opportunity to get some office furniture. So Jill rounded up a bunch of people, commandeered them, mm-hmm. rented a U-Haul truck, and we went down one Saturday night about 6 o'clock to an office building and got desks and chairs and couches and cabinets and all that type of stuff, and brought it all back and distributed it. It was quite an adventure doing that. So you never know what you're going to be asked to do on Meals on Wheels, but it always turns out to be an interesting and fun type of thing.
One woman that we had in Silver Spring that she wasn't there when we came one time. And as we were getting out of the car and deciding what to do, she drove up, and she had taken the guy across the street from her shopping. Here was a person we were delivering the meal to, and she was taking her neighbor shopping, and he would take up, and then we'd help her carry the groceries in.
For many years, it was just me and Aggie as part-time employees.
I found out from Sue Bush, who saw me at the church we used to go to together, and she asked me if I would like to come to work at Meals on Wheels, and she brought me over there and introduced me to the whole program. I was hired as a cook.
I wanted to do something with my 3-year-old, and I knew about Meals on Wheels, and I thought it would be a fun thing for us to do together. And so for 2 years, he and I did deliveries together, and everybody loved the cute little baby with the dimply cheeks. The then director, Cher Mack, decided that she got another job, and she and Betty Fredericks, who was on the board at the time, asked me if I would do it. And I thought, it's a great part-time job. I can, still have plenty of time to spend with my kids. And I'll just do this until the kids get a little bit older. And then I did it for 18 years.
I cooked the food. I helped to order the food. I received the food and unpack, put it on the shelf and refrigerator and everything.
I would answer the phones. I would sign people up. I made the route sheets. I recruited the volunteers. I scheduled the volunteers. I trained and helped the packers to make the cold meals. Anybody who wanted meals, I would talk to. I did all of the paperwork, all of the fundraising. I was the backup cook. I answered the phone when Jill wasn't, or whoever wasn't there. I cleaned up
It was more than one job, really.
Yeah, it's, I did a little bit of everything and a lot of things.
From the very first, we had an annual meeting, which was required by the bylaws. The first ones, we would serve coffee and dessert and try to find a speaker. And then we decided we'd have a luncheon.
We'd have a luncheon and bring as many clients to Zion as we could so that they could see where their meals were coming from. And it made them feel a lot better. We brought them in through the kitchen entrance, and then we had an elevator that we could get them up to the second floor. And we would have luncheons, and we'd go to the luncheons with our clients.
They were very well attended. At 25 years, we went out to a restaurant, and we had many, many people come to that.
I don't think I appreciated as much how important volunteering is to the people who are volunteering, that it really is possible to get more than you give when you're a volunteer. And especially for some of my volunteers who are older themselves, and how important it was to them to still be able to give in a meaningful way to other people.
In the few years that I've been volunteering here, now 7 years, Meals on Wheels Takoma Park has grown. Today we're delivering to a little over 100 clients a day. Our budget has nearly quadrupled in that time, and we continue to grow under such great leadership, so many great people here.
I miss doing it.
I love all of the people who come in. I love meeting all of the volunteers. I love getting to know the new kitchen assistants and how every individual person makes this organization bigger and better than it could otherwise be.
I'm very grateful that I was able to put as many years in as I was. I really enjoyed everybody who I worked with. I enjoyed the volunteers. I enjoyed the clients. I had some of the best coworkers in the world.
It's a very interesting organization. Everybody likes going to work, which is a very pleasant way to spend your time. Nobody's grumpy, everybody's just very nice, and it's close. It's only a mile away.
I like the people. I think I like the people the most. Talking to people, hearing their stories, learning about them. Driving, I like meeting the clients, chatting, and I like the flexibility.
The volunteers all believe in the mission. The volunteers are all enthusiastic. There's a wide range of people here from all walks of life, which is a great thing about this organization. You can volunteer and work with students or people who are the same age as the clients and everyone in between. And it's a great way to expand your network and get to know Takoma Park and Silver Spring.
We had managed to feed thousands, perhaps, of people over these 50 years.
Every day, it is a daily miracle that we get out as many meals as we do, right?
I agree completely.
And that's actually the easiest part.
One time I had a very special angel come to me. I was there by myself and it was snowing outside, and we kept getting all these calls from volunteers saying, I can't come because it's snowing. But we were still going to deliver. So I was rushing around cooking and doing the cold bags and everything. There was a knock at the door, and a lady was there, and she said, I'm waiting to see the people across upstairs, people upstairs who are working with Lutheran Social Services. And she said, but I said, they're not there till 9 o'clock. And she said, could I stay here and wait? And I said, yes. So she sat in the other room, and then she came out and said, could I help you? She did everything that the volunteers would have done. She packed up all the lunches, she did everything, and then she disappeared, and I have never seen her since. And I tell everybody, I think that was an angel. I firmly believe it.
We never doubted that the service was important. It was enabling people to stay in their own home.
The more important part is that we are feeding people not just with food, but with our presence. And they look forward to Wednesday when Diane is coming. And, you know, what happened to Henry? He wasn't here last Thursday. The fact that we show up day after day for people with our whole selves is so important, and in such a vital way that just the food would never do. It is much more than a meal.
We're all supposed to do something to help somebody, and that was my, everybody gets a mission to do something to do for other people, and I felt like that was mine. I can't do a lot of things, but I can cook.
Leroy and I were involved in Meals on Wheels because we believe that serving others is serving God, and Christ himself was a model for service to others.
There's no doubt in my mind that this is a service that is needed.
I just was happy to help people. I'm just always happy to help people who need help.
So, thank you very much.
You guys are a big part of my life. I really mean that.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I'm proud of doing my part for Meals on Wheels and keeping it operating through good and bad times.
The work that we do at Meals on Wheels is really wonderful. It's just bigger in every way since the start of the pandemic.
This organization is very well run. I'm glad to be a part of it. I'm glad all of you are a part of it. And it's going to be a great next 50 years.
We served so many people, and we served them with a lot of love.
I really could not be more proud of or more impressed by our team and our community, our small staff of part-time neighbors, our volunteers. Thanks to them, our volunteers, and to donors like you in our community, we have not had to decline even one single client.